Wilhelm I was even declared to be the reincarnation of the medieval King Friedrich Barbarossa. In a German version of the Arthurian legend, Barbarossa was said to be asleep under the Kyffhauser Mountains in Thuringia, destined to return one day and restore Germany to its greatness. A vast monument to this effect was erected in the 1890s. This sense of a shared mythology was added to by many great German thinkers, among them the brothers Grimm, who had long argued that German culture, language, and historical tradition form a stronger bond than local particularism. Furthermore, the irresistible economic currents of the Industrial Revolution that had swept through Western Europe for over a century demanded greater coordination of resources, manpower, and policy if the German states did not want to fall further behind their French and British neighbors. The rising middle classes saw the immense potential of the natural resources, favorable geography, and work traditions of the German-speaking lands, if only they could be unlocked through unification. On the other hand, cultural, economic, and political ties were not enough. As Bismarck himself pointed out in his famous 1862 speech, it would take war to unify the German people. That proved as accurate before 1871 as it did after, when Bismarck decided to forge a brand new nation-state in the fires of war against Denmark, Austria, and France. He created a Germany whose only binding experience was conflict against external enemies. Holding the conglomerate of what had been 39 individual states together under one federal government proved difficult, and cracks began to appear before the ink on the new constitution had dried. He understood that the nation had not been molded into one smooth whole over centuries, but was really closer to a mosaic, hastily glued together with the blood of its enemies. Bismarck therefore sought to perpetuate the struggle in order to preserve his new Germany. This was a risky strategy. The Iron Chancellor was an astute politician, perhaps one of the greatest statesmen of all time, and he understood how fragile the so-called Concert of Europe was in 1871. To introduce a new major power into the very heart of it was akin to placing a child with a trumpet into the midst of a world-class symphony orchestra. He knew the newcomer had to be quiet for some time until she had learned her craft and earned the respect of the established players. Bismarck could therefore not seek external conflict again anytime soon. Instead, he focused on internal enemies against whom he could unite the majority of the German population. The new state now encompassed many ethnic minorities, such as Polish, Danish, and French communities, against which Bismarck could create the contrast of German citizenship. When compared to a Frenchman, Germans would see themselves as Germans rather than Bavarians or Prussians. In addition, religion seemed another useful battleground. 2/3 of the population within the German Empire were Protestant and 1/3 Catholic. By secularizing German society, Bismarck sought to replace religion with a national sentiment, thereby creating new identity references and reducing differences between Germans. Lastly, the internationalism of the socialist movement seemed a dangerous countercurrent to national identity. Bismarck declared socialists enemies of the state, and so could use this too to keep the struggle of all Germans against common enemies alive. When Wilhelm II took to the throne in 1888, the tumultuous year of the three emperors, he quickly clashed with Bismarck over the issue of German unity. He recognized the same problem. Economic and cultural common ground would not be enough to hold the Second Reich together, but found Bismarck's solution of Germans battling each other abhorrent. Wilhelm wanted to be the Kaiser of all Germans, beloved by his subjects. If his grandfather Wilhelm I refused to be the incarnation of Friedrich Barbarossa, it would fall to him to lead his